Did you know that the secret to facing life's biggest challenges with unshakable calm was discovered over 2,000 years ago? Imagine having a mindset so strong that no amount of stress, negativity, or uncertainty could shake you. Imagine waking up every morning with a sense of clarity, purpose, and control, no matter what happens around you. This might sound like a superpower, but it is not a fantasy or a skill only a few people are born with. This mindset is a way of thinking, a way of living, and it has been practiced by some of history's greatest minds, from Roman emperors to modern-day leaders, athletes, and entrepreneurs. It is called Stoicism, and today I'm going to show you how it can help you navigate life's storms with resilience and wisdom. The power of Stoicism in the modern world. We live in a world where stress, anxiety, and unexpected challenges seem to be everywhere. Maybe it is the pressure of work, the chaos of social media, or the uncertainty of the future. Maybe it is the frustration of daily inconveniences like traffic jams, rude comments, or canceled plans. These moments can pile up, making life feel overwhelming. Most of us react instinctively to these situations, letting our emotions take control. We get angry at the smallest inconveniences, anxious over things we cannot change, or caught up in endless cycles of stress and worry. But what if I told you that there is a different way to live? The philosophy of Stoicism teaches us one of the most powerful lessons of all. While we cannot control everything that happens to us, we have absolute power over how we respond. And that is where true freedom lies. Not in controlling the outside world, but in mastering our own mind, emotions, and actions. When you truly understand this, you will experience a profound shift in the way you approach challenges, setbacks, and even success. What you will learn today. That is why, in today's video, we are diving into 12 life-changing Stoic principles that will help you stay calm and focused in stressful situations, overcome adversity with resilience, make better decisions with clarity and wisdom, and find joy and fulfillment in everyday life. These are not just abstract ideas or philosophical theories. They are practical tools that you can start applying immediately to transform the way you think, feel, and act. By the end of this video, you will have a new perspective on life's challenges and a powerful mindset that will help you navigate any situation with strength and purpose. Stay with me to the end if you are ready to develop a mindset that will carry you through anything life throws your way. Make sure to like this video so more people can discover these powerful lessons. Subscribe to the channel to continue learning life-changing insights, and most importantly, stay with me until the end. Every second of this video is a step toward mastering Stoicism and unlocking a stronger, wiser, and more resilient version of yourself. Let's dive in. The first principle will completely change how you approach stress and control in your life. The frustrations of everyday life is full of small but constant annoyances that can easily disrupt our peace of mind. Maybe you are stuck in traffic when you are already running late for an important meeting. Maybe you come across a negative comment on social media that makes your mood take a turn for the worse. Or perhaps the weather ruins your carefully planned outdoor event. These situations, though seemingly minor, can add up and affect our overall happiness and stress levels. It is natural to feel frustrated when things do not go as planned. After all, nobody enjoys delays, criticism, or unexpected setbacks. However, if we take a step back, we will realize that many of these frustrations stem from things completely outside of our control. No matter how much we wish otherwise, we cannot make traffic disappear, change another person's opinion, or control the weather. But there is something we can control: our response. The wisdom of Epictetus. The ancient Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This simple yet powerful statement captures the essence of Stoicism. We do not always have control over external events, but we do have full control over how we interpret and respond to them. The more we focus on controlling our reactions rather than external circumstances, the more peace and resilience we cultivate in our lives. Imagine two people stuck in the same traffic jam. One spends the entire time honking, cursing, and growing increasingly agitated. The other takes a deep breath, accepts the situation, and uses the time to listen to an audiobook or reflect on their day. The traffic remains the same, but the experience is completely different based on how each person chooses to respond. Psychological support for Stoic thinking. Modern psychology supports this Stoic approach to control and reaction. Carl Jung, one of the most influential figures in psychology, emphasized that personal identity is shaped not by what happens to us, but by how we choose to respond. He famously stated, "I am not what happened to me. I am what I choose to become." This aligns perfectly with the Stoic belief that our true power lies in our mindset and actions, not in external circumstances. When we focus too much on what we cannot change, we end up feeling helpless and frustrated. But when we shift our focus to what is within our control, our thoughts, reactions, and behaviors, we reclaim our power. This mindset helps reduce stress, improves emotional resilience, and allows us to navigate life's difficulties with greater ease. A simple but powerful shift in perspective. The next time something goes wrong, ask yourself a simple question: is this within my control? If the answer is no, then there is no use wasting energy on it. Instead, shift your focus to what you can control, your response. If you are stuck in traffic, getting angry will not clear the road, but choosing to listen to music or a podcast can make the experience more pleasant. If someone leaves a negative comment on your post, you cannot control their words, but you can control whether you let it affect you or simply ignore it. If the weather ruins your plans, you can choose to be upset or find an alternative activity and make the best of the day. Mastering what you can control is one of the most liberating practices in Stoicism. The less energy you spend fighting what is beyond your influence, the more peace and clarity you will gain in your daily life. It is a simple shift, but one that can transform your mindset and overall happiness. Now that we understand the power of focusing on what we can control, let's explore how we can take this idea even further by turning obstacles into opportunities. A new perspective on challenges. When faced with challenges, most of us instinctively see them as barriers, something that is in our way, blocking our progress or causing us frustration. Whether it's a sudden setback in our career, a personal conflict, or any other obstacle, it's easy to feel defeated by these moments. We often ask ourselves, "Why me?" or wonder why things are going wrong. However, the Stoic perspective encourages us to shift our view of obstacles entirely. Instead of seeing challenges as roadblocks, we can see them as stepping stones, an opportunity for growth, learning, and improvement. Every obstacle, no matter how difficult, holds the potential for us to become stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Stoic wisdom. What stands in the way becomes the way. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, offers a profound insight in his writings. What stands in the way becomes the way. This quote perfectly encapsulates the Stoic approach to adversity. Rather than seeing obstacles as hindrances to our goals, we can choose to view them as part of the path to success. When we encounter challenges, we can ask ourselves not, "Why is this happening to me?" but "What can I learn from this?" By reframing obstacles as opportunities to grow, we turn adversity into a tool for personal development. We can see every difficulty as a lesson that pushes us forward, rather than holding us back. Scientific backing, building mental strength. Modern psychology and resilience studies also support this Stoic outlook on obstacles. Research shows that struggles and adversity play a crucial role in building mental strength and resilience. Psychologists have found that when we confront challenges head-on and learn from them, we develop a deeper sense of self-efficacy, the belief in our ability to handle difficult situations. Instead of avoiding discomfort, we can embrace it as part of our journey. Each struggle provides valuable feedback and pushes us outside our comfort zones, which is where true growth happens. The more we face and learn from challenges, the more we build our mental toughness and capacity to overcome future obstacles. Career, setbacks, and personal conflicts. Let's consider a real-world example. Imagine you've been applying for jobs for months and have faced rejection after rejection. It's easy to become discouraged and feel like the world is against you. But if you adopt the Stoic mindset, you can view each rejection as feedback, a chance to improve your resume, sharpen your interview skills, or reassess your job search strategy. Rather than letting the setbacks define you, you can use them to refine your approach and become more determined in your efforts. Similarly, in personal conflicts, the situation might seem frustrating or painful at first. But instead of resisting the discomfort, you can ask yourself, "What can I learn from this interaction?" Every disagreement or challenge in relationships offers an opportunity to practice patience, empathy, and communication. By adopting this mindset, you transform conflict from something negative into an opportunity to enhance your interpersonal skills and build stronger connections with others. The power of reframing obstacles. The Stoic principle of embracing obstacles as opportunities requires a shift in thinking. Instead of seeing life's challenges as things to avoid or fear, we can learn to approach them with curiosity and a willingness to grow. Each challenge we face becomes a chance to learn something new, develop our character, and gain insight into our own resilience. By asking, "What can I learn from this?" we transform every obstacle into an opportunity for personal development. The next time you face adversity, whether in your career, relationships, or personal life, try reframing the situation. Ask yourself what you can take away from it, how you can improve, and how it can contribute to your long-term growth. In doing so, you will find that life's obstacles become powerful allies on your journey to becoming your best self. With this new perspective, let's now explore another Stoic principle that can help us live with greater peace and purpose, living in the present moment. Why we struggle to stay present. For many of us, truly living in the present feels like a challenge. Our minds are often stuck in the past, replaying mistakes, regrets, or conversations we wish had gone differently. Other times, we are consumed by thoughts about the future, worrying about what might happen, planning for things beyond our control, or feeling anxious about what is next. This habit of mentally drifting away from the present moment is one of the biggest barriers to peace and contentment. We are so caught up in what has happened or what might happen that we forget to fully experience what is happening right now. This constant mental noise robs us of joy, increases stress, and prevents us from appreciating the simple moments that make life meaningful. Stoic wisdom. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, offered a simple but profound insight: concentrate the mind on the present moment. The Stoics believed that life is best lived when we fully engage with what is happening right now, instead of being distracted by the past or the future. They taught that the present is the only thing we truly own, and by focusing our attention on it, we free ourselves from unnecessary suffering. Seneca also emphasized the importance of staying present, warning that worrying about the future only doubles our suffering. He reminded us that most of our fears never actually come true, and even when they do, we often find that they are not as bad as we imagined. By focusing on what we can do in the present, we reclaim our power and clarity. Mindfulness in everyday life. This ancient wisdom is now backed by modern psychology. Mindfulness, a practice that involves focusing on the present moment without judgment, has been shown to reduce stress, increase happiness, and improve overall well-being. Many successful individuals, from athletes to business leaders, practice mindfulness to help them stay focused, make better decisions, and enjoy life more fully. Mindfulness is not about ignoring the past or neglecting future responsibilities. Instead, it is about developing the ability to fully engage in the moment, whether it is a conversation with a loved one, a task at work, or a simple walk outside. Some practical ways to incorporate mindfulness into daily life include savoring experiences. When eating, focus on the flavors, textures, and aromas instead of rushing through a meal. Deep listening. When speaking with someone, give them your full attention rather than thinking about what you will say next. Breaking free from distractions. Limit multitasking and give your full focus to one task at a time. A simple practice to cultivate presence. One of the easiest ways to train yourself to live in the present is through focused breathing. The next time you feel your mind wandering, take a deep breath and focus on the sensation of the air entering and leaving your body. This simple act anchors you in the present moment and helps you regain a sense of calm and control. Another way to practice living in the moment is to fully engage in whatever you are doing, whether it is washing dishes, walking in nature, or having a conversation. Bring your full attention to the task at hand. Notice the details, appreciate the sensations, and immerse yourself in the experience. Finally, take a moment each day to appreciate small joys: the warmth of the sun, the sound of laughter, or the feeling of a deep breath. These simple moments, when fully experienced, bring a sense of peace and gratitude that makes life richer and more fulfilling. By making a conscious effort to live in the present, we free ourselves from unnecessary stress and find joy in everyday moments. Now that we understand the power of presence, let's explore another key Stoic principle: how self-discipline leads to true freedom. Reframing self-discipline, a path to empowerment. Many people hear the word self-discipline and immediately think of restriction, rules, or a rigid lifestyle that takes the fun out of life. But in reality, self-discipline is not about punishment or deprivation. It is about empowerment, the ability to make choices that align with our deepest values and long-term goals, rather than being controlled by fleeting impulses. True freedom does not come from doing whatever we want in the moment. It comes from having control over our actions and making decisions that serve our future selves. Without self-discipline, we become prisoners to our distractions, cravings, and emotions, constantly pulled in different directions without a clear sense of purpose. But when we cultivate discipline, we gain the power to shape our lives with intention and clarity. Stoic wisdom: you have power over your mind. Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic philosopher and Roman emperor, emphasized the power of the mind in achieving self-discipline. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This principle reminds us that while we cannot always control what happens around us, we can control our thoughts, actions, and reactions. When we master our own impulses and habits, we gain true freedom, the ability to act in alignment with our goals rather than being swayed by external circumstances or momentary temptations. The Stoics believed that self-discipline was a foundational virtue, one that allowed individuals to remain calm, focused, and resilient no matter what life threw their way. It was not about being rigid or emotionless, but about having the strength to make the right choices, even when those choices were difficult. Scientific support. Why self-discipline leads to success. Modern psychology strongly supports the Stoic belief in the power of self-discipline. Studies on habit formation and delayed gratification show that individuals who develop self-control tend to be more successful, happier, and healthier. One of the most well-known studies on this topic is the marshmallow test, conducted by psychologist Walter Mischel. In this experiment, children were given a choice. They could eat one marshmallow immediately or wait for a few minutes and receive 2 marshmallows instead. The study followed these children for years and found that those who were able to delay gratification, those who exercised self-discipline, tended to have higher academic achievement, better relationships, and greater success in adulthood. Self-discipline is not about depriving ourselves, but about choosing long-term benefits over short-term pleasure. It is about making small sacrifices now for greater rewards later. This principle applies to every area of life, whether it is sticking to a workout routine, saving money, practicing mindfulness, or resisting the urge to react emotionally in difficult situations. Daily practices to strengthen self-discipline. Like any skill, self-discipline can be developed through consistent practice. Here are a few simple but effective ways to build self-discipline in everyday life. Set small, achievable goals. Discipline is built through small wins. Instead of setting overwhelming goals, start with manageable steps. If you want to develop a reading habit, commit to just 5 pages a day. If you want to exercise, start with 10 minutes of movement. Small actions, repeated consistently, create lasting habits. Make intentional decisions. Instead of acting on impulse, pause and ask yourself, is this choice in line with my long-term goals? This small moment of reflection can prevent decisions that lead to regret later. Track your progress. Keeping a record of your efforts helps reinforce positive behaviors, whether it is a journal, a habit tracking app, or simply marking off a calendar. Seeing progress motivates continued effort. Practice delayed gratification. Challenge yourself to wait before indulging in immediate desires. If you feel the urge to check social media, wait 5 minutes. If you crave a sugary snack, drink water first. These small acts of control strengthen your ability to resist temptations, eliminate unnecessary temptations. Self-discipline becomes easier when your environment supports your goals. If you want to focus better, put your phone in another room. If you want to eat healthier, remove junk food from your home. Make discipline effortless by designing your surroundings for success. The power of self-discipline in daily life. When we develop self-discipline, we gain control over our minds, actions, and future. We stop being reactive and start becoming intentional. Over time, these small daily choices add up, leading to greater success, peace of mind, and a deep sense of personal freedom. By practicing self-discipline, We do not restrict our lives. We take control of them. Now that we have explored how mastering self-discipline leads to freedom, let's dive into another essential Stoic principle: the power of emotional resilience and how it helps us handle life's ups and downs with grace. Understanding emotional triggers. We all experience moments of anger, sadness, frustration, or disappointment. These emotions are a natural part of being human. However, the real challenge is not in feeling these emotions, but in how we handle them. When we allow our emotions to dictate our actions, we often make choices we later regret. Think about the last time you reacted impulsively to a situation. Maybe you snapped at someone in anger, sent a message you later wished you had not, or let frustration ruin your entire day. These reactions do not just affect us in the moment. They can damage relationships, cloud our judgment, and increase our stress levels. The goal of emotional resilience is not to suppress emotions, but to learn how to respond to them thoughtfully, rather than reacting impulsively. This ability to maintain composure in challenging situations is one of the greatest strengths we can cultivate, and it is a key lesson in Stoicism. Stoic wisdom. Facing adversity with composure. Seneca, one of the most well-known Stoic philosophers, offered profound advice on managing emotions. He believed that hardships and challenges were inevitable, but our reaction to them was within our control. He taught that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. What he meant was that many of our negative emotional reactions are exaggerated by our thoughts. We imagine the worst possible outcomes, dwell on past hurts, or create unnecessary anxiety about the future. Instead of letting these thoughts take over, the Stoics encouraged us to take a step back, observe our emotions objectively, and respond with reason rather than impulse. Seneca also emphasized the power of preparation. If we anticipate that difficulties and emotional triggers will arise, we can train ourselves to handle them with grace and patience. By expecting obstacles, we are less likely to be caught off guard and more likely to respond with calm and clarity. Modern psychology, emotional intelligence, and self-awareness. The principles of Stoicism align closely with modern psychology, particularly in the study of emotional intelligence. Psychologists have found that emotionally intelligent individuals, those who can recognize, understand, and manage their emotions, tend to be more successful, happier, and better at handling stress. Self-awareness is a key component of emotional intelligence. When we understand what triggers our emotional reactions, we can develop strategies to manage them more effectively. Instead of reacting instinctively, we can pause, reflect, and choose a response that aligns with our values. Another important concept in psychology is cognitive reframing, the ability to shift our perspective on a situation. Instead of seeing a setback as a failure, we can view it as a learning experience. Instead of taking criticism personally, we can see it as an opportunity for growth. This mindset shift helps us maintain emotional balance and avoid unnecessary suffering. Practical steps to build emotional resilience. Developing emotional resilience takes practice, but with consistent effort, we can strengthen our ability to respond rather than react. Here are a few simple but effective strategies. Pause before reacting. The moment you feel anger, frustration, or sadness rising, take a deep breath and pause. Give yourself a few seconds before responding. This brief moment can prevent impulsive, regretful reactions. Observe and label your emotions. Instead of being consumed by emotions, take a step back and name what you are feeling. Saying, "I am feeling frustrated right now," helps create distance between you and the emotion, making it easier to manage. Ask yourself, will this matter in a week? Many emotional reactions are based on temporary situations that will not be significant in the long run. Before reacting, ask yourself if this situation will still be important in a week or a month. This perspective shift can reduce overreactions. Reframe the situation. Instead of thinking, "This is unfair," try asking, "What can I learn from this?" Changing your perspective helps you focus on solutions rather than problems. Practice self-compassion. Be kind to yourself. Everyone experiences emotional ups and downs. Instead of being hard on yourself for feeling a certain way, remind yourself that emotions are natural, but you have the power to choose how you respond. Develop a coping ritual. When facing strong emotions, have a go-to strategy that helps you regain control. This could be taking a walk, journaling, practicing deep breathing, or engaging in a calming activity. Finding a method that works for you can make a big difference in how you handle emotional stress. The power of responding thoughtfully. By practicing emotional resilience, we gain control over our reactions, strengthen our relationships, and reduce unnecessary stress. The goal is not to eliminate emotions, but to develop the ability to process them with clarity and wisdom. When we master the art of responding rather than reacting, we cultivate inner peace, confidence, and emotional strength. Instead of being controlled by external events or temporary feelings, we take back our power and move through life with greater stability and self-assurance. Now that we understand the importance of emotional resilience, let's explore another powerful Stoic principle, Memento Mori, or the practice of remembering that life is finite and how this perspective can help us live more fully and intentionally. Facing mortality, a motivator for intentional living. Most people avoid thinking about death. It is an uncomfortable subject, often associated with fear, sadness, or uncertainty. But what if, instead of fearing it, we use the awareness of death as a tool to live more intentionally? The Stoics believed that regularly contemplating mortality was not morbid, but rather one of the most powerful motivators for living a meaningful life. They called this practice Memento Mori, which means, remember you will die. This principle was not meant to create anxiety, but to serve as a reminder that our time is limited, and because of that, every moment matters. In modern life, it is easy to fall into the trap of procrastination and distraction. We delay pursuing our dreams, put off important conversations, and assume there will always be more time to do the things that truly matter. But the reality is, time is our most valuable and non-renewable resource. By acknowledging that life is short, we can shift our focus toward living fully in the present, cherishing relationships, and prioritizing what truly matters. Stoic wisdom. You could leave life right now. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, had a powerful perspective on mortality. He wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This quote is not meant to instill fear, but to awaken us to the reality that life is happening right now. The future is never guaranteed, and the past cannot be changed. The only moment we have control over is this one. The Stoics believed that keeping mortality in mind led to greater clarity, purpose, and gratitude. Instead of wasting time on petty arguments, unnecessary worries, or meaningless distractions, we can focus on making each day count. It encourages us to let go of trivial concerns that do not truly matter in the grand scheme of life. Appreciate the people in our lives and express gratitude while we still have the chance. Pursue our passions and goals now, instead of waiting for the perfect moment. A life-changing perspective on time. Many of us act as if we will live forever, assuming we have unlimited time to fix relationships, chase dreams, or start new adventures. But when we truly grasp that our time is finite, we begin to prioritize what is meaningful. Imagine you were given only 1 year left to live. How would that change your daily decisions? Would you hold grudges, waste time scrolling through social media, or put off pursuing your goals? Or would you make the most of every moment, tell your loved ones how much they mean to you, and take bold action toward your dreams? This shift in perspective does not mean we should live in constant anxiety about death. Instead, it teaches us to live with urgency and purpose. When we recognize that each day could be our last, we begin to stop procrastinating. If something is important, we do it now instead of delaying. Cherish relationships. We spend quality time with loved ones and express appreciation for them. Focus on what truly matters. Instead of being distracted by superficial concerns, we invest in things that bring meaning and fulfillment. Applying Memento Mori in daily life. Start each day with gratitude. Remind yourself that every day is a gift. Instead of focusing on what is missing, appreciate what you have. Ask yourself, if today were my last, would I be proud of how I lived? Reflect on your actions and whether they align with your values and goals. Make time for what matters. Spend less time on things that do not bring lasting happiness, and more time on meaningful connections. Growth and contribution. Let go of negativity. Holding on to resentment, anger, or regret is a waste of precious time. Choose forgiveness and move forward. Take bold action. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Start that project. Express your feelings. Take the trip or pursue your passion. The ultimate reminder to live fully. Memento Mori is not about dwelling on death. It is about appreciating life. When we remind ourselves that our time is limited, we become more present, more courageous, and more intentional with our actions. So ask yourself, are you living in a way that, if today were your last, you would be proud of? If not, what can you change? By embracing Memento Mori, we stop merely existing and start truly living. Now that we understand the importance of making the most of our time, let's explore another transformative Stoic principle, the power of gratitude, and how it can shift our entire perspective on life. Shifting focus. The endless chase versus appreciating the present. In today's world, we are constantly told that happiness is just one step away. We believe that once we achieve the next promotion, buy a bigger house, or gain more recognition, we will finally be satisfied. But the truth is, the cycle never ends. Once we reach one goal, a new desire emerges, keeping us in a state of constant chasing rather than appreciating. The Stoics recognized this trap and taught that true contentment does not come from acquiring more, but from appreciating what we already have. Instead of measuring life by what is missing, they urged us to recognize the abundance that already exists. This simple shift in perspective can transform how we experience life, bringing more peace, fulfillment, and happiness. When we focus on what we lack, we create anxiety and dissatisfaction. But when we focus on what we have, we cultivate gratitude and inner peace. Learning to appreciate the present moment rather than constantly longing for the future is one of the most powerful mindsets we can develop. Seneca's philosophy on contentment. Seneca, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, spoke extensively about the power of gratitude and contentment. He believed that the greatest obstacle to happiness was the belief that we are always lacking something. He wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." Seneca taught that instead of yearning for what we do not have, we should learn to appreciate what is already within our reach. He believed that by regularly reflecting on the things we take for granted, our health, our relationships, even the simple ability to breathe and experience life, we can shift our focus from scarcity to abundance. He also emphasized that wealth is not measured by material possessions but by a state of mind. A person who constantly desires more will always feel poor, no matter how much they have. But a person who finds contentment in the present moment will feel rich even with little. Psychological benefits, gratitude and well-being. Modern science supports what the Stoics knew thousands of years ago. Gratitude improves mental and emotional well-being. Numerous studies have shown that practicing gratitude regularly leads to lower stress levels, improved sleep, and increased overall happiness. Research conducted by psychologists Robert Emmons and Michael McCullough found that people who keep a daily gratitude journal experience fewer symptoms of depression, exercise more, and report higher levels of joy and optimism. Gratitude has also been linked to stronger relationships, greater resilience, and even better physical health. When we practice gratitude, we rewire our brains to focus on the positive aspects of life, rather than dwelling on what is lacking. This shift in mindset does not just make us feel happier, it fundamentally changes how we experience the world. Simple practice. 3 things you're grateful for. Each day, gratitude is not just an abstract concept, it is a practice that we can cultivate daily. One of the simplest and most effective ways to develop gratitude is through a daily gratitude journal. Every day, take a moment to write down 3 things you are grateful for. They do not have to be major life events. In fact, the most powerful form of gratitude comes from appreciating the small things. A kind word from a friend, a beautiful sunrise, the comfort of a warm cup of coffee. Other ways to practice gratitude include expressing appreciation to others. Take time to thank the people in your life. A simple thank you can strengthen relationships and spread positivity. Shifting perspective during difficult times. Even in challenging moments, ask yourself, what can I be grateful for in this situation? Finding even a small silver lining can shift your mindset. Mindful reflection. Before bed, reflect on what went well during the day instead of focusing on what went wrong. By making gratitude a habit, we train our minds to see the good in life rather than always searching for what is missing. The result is a deeper sense of fulfillment and joy, no matter the external circumstances. Living a life of gratitude. Gratitude is one of the simplest yet most powerful Stoic practices. It requires no special skills, no wealth, and no extraordinary circumstances. It simply requires a shift in focus, from what is missing to what is already present. If you find yourself constantly chasing the next thing, take a moment to pause and reflect on all that you already have. The more you practice gratitude, the more you will realize that happiness is not something to be found in the future. It is something that can be experienced right now. Now that we understand how gratitude can transform our mindset, let's explore another fundamental Stoic principle, the pursuit of personal excellence, and how striving to be our best selves leads to a fulfilling life. Defining excellence, setting personal standards over external validation. Many people spend their lives chasing external validation, seeking approval, recognition, and success based on what others think. social media, workplace competition, and societal expectations often push us toward measuring our worth through comparison rather than personal growth. But the Stoics taught a different approach to excellence, one that is rooted in internal standards rather than external praise. True excellence is not about competing with others. It is about striving to become the best version of yourself. It is about setting personal standards and working toward them every day, regardless of whether anyone is watching or acknowledging your progress. Excellence is not about perfection. It is about growth, resilience, and self-mastery. The moment we stop worrying about how others perceive us and focus on our own progress, we take control of our lives. We shift from seeking approval to seeking fulfillment through self-improvement. This is the foundation of personal excellence, a lifelong commitment to growth, learning, and virtue. Stoic principle: excellence is not an act, but a habit. The Greek philosopher Aristotle, who heavily influenced Stoic thought, famously said, "Excellence is not an act, but a habit." This means that true greatness is not achieved through one-time actions or big moments of success. It is built through consistent effort, discipline, and daily habits. The Stoics believed that virtue and character were the highest forms of excellence. According to them, a person who consistently strives to act with wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control is already successful, regardless of external outcomes. Seneca also reinforced this idea by reminding us that excellence is a lifelong process. He wrote, "While we are postponing, life speeds by." This serves as a powerful reminder that waiting for the right moment to pursue excellence is a mistake. The right moment is now. Every small effort we make toward personal growth compounds over time and shapes the person we become. The growth mindset, embracing failure as part of the process. One of the biggest barriers to excellence is the fear of failure. Many people hesitate to try new things or push themselves outside their comfort zones because they are afraid of making mistakes. But the Stoics, much like modern psychologists, understood that failure is not something to fear. It is something to embrace. Modern psychology refers to this perspective as the growth mindset, a concept developed by Dr. Carol Dweck. A growth mindset is the belief that abilities and intelligence can be developed through effort and learning. People with a growth mindset see failures not as evidence of their limits, but as opportunities to improve. This aligns perfectly with Stoic thought. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, obstacles and setbacks are not roadblocks, they are stepping stones to growth. Every failure teaches us something valuable and brings us closer to mastery. How to apply personal excellence in daily life. Pursuing personal excellence does not mean aiming for perfection. Instead, it means making consistent, intentional efforts to improve in all areas of life, mentally, physically, and emotionally. Here are a few ways to cultivate excellence. Set clear personal standards. Define what excellence means to you. Is it developing strong work ethics, practicing kindness, becoming physically and mentally stronger? Identify the qualities you want to embody and set personal standards to guide your actions. Commit to lifelong learning. Excellence is a process, not a destination. Make it a habit to read, learn, and grow every day. Study philosophy, develop new skills, and challenge yourself intellectually. Embrace failure as feedback. View mistakes as opportunities to refine your skills and knowledge. Instead of getting discouraged by setbacks, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Focus on small, consistent improvements. Big achievements come from small, consistent efforts over time. Aim to improve by just 1% every day, whether in your work, fitness, relationships, or mindset. Surround yourself with excellence. The people you spend time with shape your habits and mindset. Surround yourself with those who inspire you, challenge you, and push you to be better. Prioritize integrity and virtue. Stoics believed that true excellence comes from living in accordance with virtue. Make choices that align with honesty, courage, discipline, and wisdom, even when no one is watching. The reward of pursuing excellence. When you commit to personal excellence, you take control of your destiny. You stop relying on external validation and start measuring success by your own growth and efforts. This shift leads to a deep sense of self-respect, confidence, and fulfillment. The pursuit of excellence is not about becoming the best in the world. It is about becoming the best version of yourself. The process itself, of learning, improving, and growing, is the greatest reward. Now that we understand the value of pursuing personal excellence, let's explore another important Stoic principle. How to free ourselves from the opinions of others and develop true inner confidence. Breaking free from validation. In today's world, it is easier than ever to be consumed by the opinions of others. Social media constantly exposes us to judgment, comparisons, and societal expectations, making it difficult to define our own self-worth. A single comment or lack of likes on a post can influence how we feel about ourselves. We often adjust our actions, words, and even our dreams based on what others expect of us, rather than what we truly want. But living for the approval of others is a never-ending cycle. No matter what we do, there will always be someone who disagrees, criticizes, or simply does not approve. The Stoics understood this reality and warned against tying our self-worth to external validation. When we seek approval from others, we give them power over us. But when we cultivate self-respect and inner confidence, we regain control of our own lives. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, once wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." This is especially true when it comes to worrying about what others think. Most of the time, our fear of judgment is far greater than the judgment itself. We imagine people criticizing us, looking down on us, or rejecting us, but in reality, most people are too focused on their own lives to be constantly thinking about ours. Truth is, people's opinions are fleeting and inconsistent. Someone may admire you today and criticize you tomorrow. If you allow yourself to be controlled by external validation, your sense of self will always be unstable. The Stoics teach us that the only validation that truly matters is the one that comes from within. Seneca also reminds us that those who constantly seek approval from others become prisoners of their expectations. Instead of focusing on our own growth and values, we spend our lives trying to meet standards set by others, standards that may have nothing to do with our true happiness. Self-reflection practice. Whose approval am I living for? To break free from the grip of external opinions, ask yourself, whose approval am I living for? Am I making decisions based on what I want or based on what others expect of me? If no one was watching, what would I truly pursue in life? These questions help us uncover where we are compromising our authenticity for external validation. The more we recognize these patterns, the more we can shift our focus back to our own values, goals, and inner peace. Practical shift. Prioritizing. Self-respect over popularity. Breaking free from the opinions of others is a process, but it is entirely possible with conscious effort. Here are some ways to develop inner confidence and self-respect. Define your own standards. Instead of measuring success by how others perceive you, define what excellence and fulfillment look like for you. Stay true to your personal values. Detach from social approval. Reduce the time spent seeking validation from social media or external praise. Remember, likes and comments do not define your worth. Accept that not everyone will approve of you. No matter how much you try, you cannot please everyone. Accepting this truth frees you from the pressure to conform. Practice self-validation. When making a decision, ask yourself, do I respect myself for this choice? Rather than, will others approve of this? Prioritizing self-respect over popularity leads to true confidence. Surround yourself with like-minded people. Spend time with those who support your true self, not those who expect you to fit into their version of success. Let go of fear-based thinking. If fear of judgment is stopping you from pursuing your goals, remind yourself of Marcus Aurelius's words. We suffer more in imagination than in reality. The more you act in alignment with your own values, the less fear you will have of others' opinions. True freedom comes from within. Freeing yourself from the opinions of others is not about ignoring feedback or refusing to grow. It is about learning to filter out what is useful and discard what is irrelevant to your personal journey. It is about having the courage to be yourself, to pursue your own path, and to find confidence in your own approval. Once you stop living for external validation, you become truly free. Your happiness, success, and self-worth are no longer dictated by the fleeting judgments of others, but by the strength of your own character. Now that we have explored how to detach from others' opinions, let's move on to another essential Stoic principle: how to accept change with grace and navigate life's uncertainties with resilience. The fear of change, why we resist it and how it holds us. Back change is one of the few certainties in life, yet it is something many of us struggle to accept. Whether it is the loss of a job, the end of a relationship, or an unexpected shift in circumstances, change can feel unsettling and sometimes even terrifying. At its core, the fear of change stems from uncertainty. We become comfortable with the familiar, even if it is not ideal. Change forces us to step into the unknown, challenging our sense of control. But the truth is, resisting change does not stop it from happening. It only makes the experience more painful. Instead of seeing change as an enemy, we can learn to embrace it as a natural and necessary part of life. Just like the seasons change, so do our experiences, relationships, and personal growth. The sooner we accept this truth, the more we can navigate change with resilience and grace rather than fear and resistance. Stoic approach. Accept whatever comes to you, woven in the pattern of your destiny. The Stoics believed that resisting change was futile, as everything in life is in a constant state of motion. Epictetus, one of the most respected Stoic philosophers, wrote, "Accept whatever comes to you woven in the pattern of your destiny, for what could more aptly fit your needs." This perspective teaches us that every event, good or bad, is part of a greater pattern, one that we may not fully understand in the moment. Even challenges and difficulties are not interruptions to our journey. They are an essential part of it. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" the Stoics encouraged us to ask, "How can I learn from this?" Marcus Aurelius also echoed this idea, reminding us that everything that happens is as natural as the growth of a tree or the flow of a river. Just as nature changes and adapts, so must we. By viewing change as an opportunity rather than a threat, we shift from feeling powerless to feeling empowered. Instead of resisting what is outside of our control, we can choose to work with it and Find ways to grow. A mindset shift. How can I adapt and grow from this? One of the most powerful ways to deal with change is to shift our mindset from resistance to adaptation. Instead of seeing change as something to fear, we can train ourselves to see it as a doorway to new possibilities. Here are some practical steps to help embrace change with a Stoic mindset. Recognize that change is inevitable. The sooner we accept that change is a natural part of life, the less we will struggle against it. Every situation, no matter how stable, will eventually evolve. Ask, how can I adapt? Instead of, why is this happening? Shifting from victim mentality to growth mentality allows us to see opportunities even in difficult changes. Focus on what you can control. While you may not be able to change the external event, you can control your reaction, mindset, and next steps. Look for hidden benefits. Often, what seems like a setback can actually be an opportunity in disguise. Losing a job might lead to a better career path. A failed relationship might lead to self-discovery and growth. Stay present instead of worrying about the future. Fear of change often comes from imagining worst-case scenarios. Instead of letting anxiety take over, focus on what you can do right now. Trust the process. Life's changes often make sense in hindsight. Even if you do not understand why something is happening now, trust that you will learn and grow from it in the long run. Embracing change as a path to strength. Every major growth moment in life comes from some form of change. Whether it is learning a new skill, overcoming a personal challenge, or moving in a new direction, change is often the catalyst that pushes us toward becoming stronger, wiser, and more resilient. Instead of resisting, try to flow with change, knowing that every transformation, no matter how uncomfortable, carries valuable lessons. The Stoics teach us that peace does not come from trying to control life's changes, but from mastering our response to them. Now that we understand how to embrace change, let's explore another powerful Stoic principle: the importance of self-reflection and reviewing our progress to ensure we are living in alignment with our values. Why reflection matters. Self-awareness and growth in the fast-paced world we live in. Many people move from one task to the next without ever pausing to reflect on their actions, decisions, or progress. Yet self-reflection is one of the most powerful tools for personal growth and self-awareness. Without it, we risk repeating the same mistakes, missing valuable lessons, and living on autopilot rather than with intention. Reflection allows us to assess our choices, understand our emotions, and align our actions with our values. It gives us clarity about what is working in our lives and what needs improvement. More importantly, it helps us develop the wisdom to navigate future challenges with greater insight and purpose. The Stoics understood the importance of self-examination and made it a daily practice. They believed that by regularly evaluating our thoughts and behaviors, we could cultivate virtue, refine our character, and make sure we were living in accordance with our highest principles. Stoic habit. Marcus Aurelius's nightly self-examination. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, made reflection an essential part of his life. Each night, he would take time to examine his actions, decisions, and emotions, asking himself whether he had lived according to his values. His personal writings, now known as meditations, were essentially a collection of reflections on life, leadership, and self-improvement. One of his key practices was reviewing the events of the day and considering whether he had acted with wisdom, patience, and integrity. If he found areas where he had fallen short, he did not dwell on guilt or regret. Instead, he used these insights as motivation to improve the next day. This practice of self-examination allowed Marcus Aurelius to strengthen his discipline, improve his decision-making, and stay true to his Stoic principles, even while facing the immense pressures of ruling an empire. Seneca also encouraged reflection as a tool for personal growth. He advised, "When the light has been removed and my wife has fallen silent, I examine my entire day and go back over what I have done and said." He saw this as a way to ensure that he was constantly improving and becoming a better version of himself. Daily practice. How to apply reflection in your own life. While we may not be Roman emperors or philosophers, we can still apply the practice of reflection in our daily lives. Here are some simple but effective ways to incorporate it. Journaling. Set aside a few minutes each day to write about your thoughts, experiences, and emotions. Ask yourself, what went well today? What could I have done better? Did my actions align with my values? End of day review. Before going to bed, mentally review the events of the day. Consider whether you handled situations wisely, where you showed patience or discipline, and what lessons you can carry into tomorrow. Evaluating decisions. When faced with an important choice, take time to reflect on past decisions. What have you learned from previous successes and mistakes? How can this guide you now? Setting intentional improvements. Reflection is not just about looking back. It is about moving forward with purpose. Identify one small change you can make each day to improve your character, habits, or mindset. Mindful conversations. After interactions with others, reflect on how you communicated. Were you patient? Did you listen actively? Reflection helps us strengthen our relationships and improve our social awareness. Living with intention and wisdom. Regular self-reflection ensures that we are not just drifting through life, but actively shaping our journey. It allows us to correct our course, refine our actions, and continuously strive for excellence. The Stoics did not believe in perfection, but they did believe in progress. They understood that wisdom is gained through deliberate learning, self-awareness, and daily refinement. By making reflection a habit, we take control of our growth, develop greater emotional intelligence, and build a life that aligns with our deepest values. The key is to reflect not with self-criticism, but with a commitment to improvement. As we conclude our exploration of these 12 Stoic principles, let's remember that the power of philosophy lies not in just understanding these ideas, but in practicing them daily. Which of these principles will you start applying in your life today? Why reflection matters. Self-awareness and growth. In the fast-paced world we live in, many people move from one task to the next without ever pausing to reflect on their actions, decisions, or progress. Yet self-reflection is one of the most powerful tools for personal growth and self-awareness. Without it, we risk repeating the same mistakes, missing valuable lessons, and living on autopilot rather than with intention. Reflection allows us to assess our choices, understand our emotions, and align our actions with our values. It gives us clarity about what is working in our lives and what needs improvement. More importantly, it helps us develop the wisdom to navigate future challenges with greater insight and purpose. The Stoics understood the importance of self-examination and made it a daily practice. They believed that by regularly evaluating our thoughts and behaviors, we could cultivate virtue, refine our character, and make sure we were living in accordance with our highest principles. Stoic habit. Marcus Aurelius's nightly self-examination. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, made reflection an essential part of his life. Each night, he would take time to examine his actions, decisions, and emotions, asking himself whether he had lived according to his values. His personal writings, now known as meditations, were essentially a collection of reflections on life. Leadership and self-improvement. One of his key practices was reviewing the events of the day and considering whether he had acted with wisdom, patience, and integrity. If he found areas where he had fallen short, he did not dwell on guilt or regret. Instead, he used these insights as motivation to improve the next day. This practice of self-examination allowed Marcus Aurelius to strengthen his discipline, improve his decision-making, and stay true to his Stoic principles, even while facing the immense pressures of ruling an empire. Seneca also encouraged reflection as a tool for personal growth. He advised, "When the light has been removed and my wife has fallen silent, I examine my entire day and go back over what I have done and said." He saw this as a way to ensure that he was constantly improving and becoming a better version of himself. Daily practice. How to apply reflection in your own life. While we may not be Roman emperors or philosophers, we can still apply the practice of reflection in our daily lives. Here are some simple but effective ways to incorporate it. Journaling. Set aside a few minutes each day to write about your thoughts, experiences, and emotions. Ask yourself, what went well today? What could I have done better? Did my actions align with my values? End of day review. Before going to bed, mentally review the events of the day. Consider whether you handled situations wisely, where you showed patience or discipline, and what lessons you can carry into tomorrow. Evaluating decisions. When faced with an important choice, take time to reflect on past decisions. What have you learned from previous successes and mistakes? How can this guide you now? Setting intentional improvements. Reflection is not just about looking back. It is about moving forward with purpose. Identify one small change you can make each day to improve your character, habits, or mindset. Mindful conversations. After interactions with others, reflect on how you communicated. Were you patient? Did you listen actively? Reflection helps us strengthen our relationships and improve our social awareness. Living with intention and wisdom. Regular self-reflection ensures that we are not just drifting through life but actively shaping our journey. It allows us to correct our course, refine our actions, and continuously strive for excellence. The Stoics did not believe in perfection, but they did believe in progress. They understood that wisdom is gained through deliberate learning, self-awareness, and daily refinement. By making reflection a habit, we take control of our growth, develop greater emotional intelligence, and build a life that aligns with our deepest values. The key is to reflect not with self-criticism, but with a commitment to improvement. As we conclude our exploration of these 12 Stoic principles, let's remember that the power of philosophy lies not in just understanding these ideas, but in practicing them daily. Which of these principles will you start applying in your life today? Throughout this video, we have explored 12 powerful Stoic principles that have the potential to transform your mindset, strengthen your resilience, and bring greater clarity to your life. These are not just abstract ideas or philosophical theories. They are practical tools that you can apply in your daily routine to cultivate wisdom, self-discipline, and inner peace. From mastering what you can control to embracing change, from practicing gratitude to freeing yourself from the opinions of others, these lessons are designed to help you navigate life's uncertainties with confidence and purpose. The beauty of Stoicism lies in its simplicity and practicality. Anyone can adopt these principles, regardless of their background, profession, or beliefs. But remember, simply understanding these ideas is not enough. The true power of Stoicism comes from applying them. Encouragement. Start small, practice daily. If you are feeling overwhelmed by the idea of implementing all 12 principles at once, do not worry. You do not need to master everything overnight. The key to lasting transformation is consistent small actions. Pick just one principle that resonates with you the most. Maybe it is learning to respond rather than react, or perhaps it is practicing gratitude every morning. Whatever it is, start with that one habit and focus on applying it in your daily life. Over time, as you become more comfortable with one principle, add another. Bit by bit, you will start to see a shift in your mindset, a reduction in stress, and an increased sense of purpose. The more you practice Stoicism, the more natural it will become, and the stronger you will feel in handling life's challenges. This is not about perfection, it is about progress. The goal is not to eliminate all struggles, but to equip yourself with the right tools to face them wisely and calmly. Engagement. Join the conversation now. I want to hear from you. Which Stoic principle resonated with you the most? Which one are you going to start applying in your life today? Do you have any personal experiences where Stoic thinking has helped you navigate a tough situation? Drop a comment below and share your thoughts. I would love to hear your perspective. Also, if you enjoyed this video and found these principles valuable, make sure to like, subscribe, and share. This helps the channel grow and allows more people to discover these life-changing ideas. If you want to dive even deeper into Stoic philosophy and its practical applications, check out this playlist on the screen, where we explore even more timeless wisdom to help you master your mind and live with purpose. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Remember, Stoicism is not about avoiding life's challenges, but about facing them with strength, wisdom, and grace. See you in the next video.